even just intimate contact could be a death sentence. For a long time, this was considered pure folklore, a cautionary tale about femme fatales. However, historical texts from the Mauryan Empire confirm that this was a very real and terrifyingly effective method of assassination. It's the ultimate form of look, but don't touch, taking the concept of a toxic relationship to a whole new, literal level. 3. The real-life Kraken was a giant squid. The Kraken, a legendary sea monster so massive it could pull entire ships down to the depths with its colossal tentacles. For sailors, it was the ultimate nightmare, a myth whispered in terrified tones across the 7 seas. For everyone else, it was just a cool story. Well, it turns out the sailors weren't just drunk.
Now the matchup underway.
While it might not have been a single island-sized beast, the legend was almost certainly inspired by very real and very giant squids. These creatures can grow to be
seriously hurt if this continues
eyes the size of dinner plates and tentacles, strong enough to cause serious trouble for a wooden ship.
The referee was able to stop the
Imagine being
match, so we are proceeding with this match.
and seeing one of those things
there's
emerge
no
from
way
the
that
murky
doesn't play a
depths.
part in this one.
You wouldn't just tell
Saxton, in this
stories.
business, you gotta keep your head on a swivel.
High risk. You gotta be kidding me.
D'Angelo, snap.
Stone Age brain surgery
Wasted
with
no
survival
time
rates.
flying out to the
If you
floor.
think modern medicine is stressful, imagine getting brain surgery during the Stone Age.
And Tony didn't see
The
that
procedure
coming.
was called trepanation,
Able to
and it
avoid
involved
heavy
drilling,
contact.
cutting, or scraping a hole into the human skull. And no, this wasn't just some gruesome post-mortem ritual.
And now gets tossed into the ring.
Archaeologists have found numerous prehistoric skulls with these
D'Angelo
holes that show
showing no
clear
fear,
signs of healing
no
and bone
intimidation.
growth, meaning the patients actually survived for years after the
He
operation.
decide.
Why did they do it?
In full
Theories range from
control
treating
of
head
their
injuries and
opponent with
epilepsy
more in
to
mind.
releasing evil
Discus
spirits.
punch.
Whatever the reason, the fact that our cave-dwelling
have
ancestors
got
were
to be
performing brain
kidding
surgery
me.
with flint
A
tools and that
deadlift
people were
military
surviving it
press.
is both
This
terrifying
is
and
unreal
mind-bogglingly
power.
impressive.
And a slam.
Talk about a headache.
Corey, what do you think we can expect to see from Tony D'Angelo in this match?
No doubt, Cole, that D'Angelo's already got his plan A, B, C, all the way to Z for this match. The Don is always thinking ahead, and we're about to see that in action.
And it looks like he might have just caught Tony D napping.
Ooh!
First a knife edge chop, and now continuing the attack on the knee.
Straight to the knee.
D'Angelo looking powerless to every attack.
Tony might be feeling a bit rattled.
Hard landing. Covers, wasting no time.
This could be it. Unbelievable display of will in the late stages of this matchup.
Oh, he timed that counter well.
Soaring through the air and connects. Putting it all on the line and coming up big with a breathtaking move. Elbow drop. Piercing.
He'll make his way to the ring.
Does the official not see him removing the turnbuckle pad? Keep your voice down. Boom, right in the button.
Neither superstar is giving an inch here.
There it is. Reversal.
Big shots being fired right now.
Neither competitor letting up. Oh. Nothing pretty here. Just good old-fashioned fisticuffs. Each exchange just sapping the energy from these two.
What impressive determination from both competitors. Keeping at each other no matter what.
Close. Hold on. He's just measuring him now. Kick to the gut. Lifted way up. Round and around and
Washington and the spinning power.
going for the win. Not letting up.
Finally, it's over.
Here is your winner.
Well, you can't help but think it was the cheap shot that secured the victory here tonight.
Look, sometimes you do what you have to do to win, and in this case, it paid off.
I have no idea how you can call what they did winning. more like surviving. And considering what they did in Survive, I don't see it as very fulfilling.
When surviving means you get your arm raised at the end, that means you won, Cole. Sorry it wasn't fulfilling enough for you.
5. Women fought and died as gladiators in the Roman Colosseum. The image of a gladiator is almost always a muscle-bound dude with a sword and a grimace. But for a long time, whispers of female gladiators, or gladiatrices, were dismissed by many historians as pure fantasy or misinterpretation. That was until archaeology stepped in. In 2000, a grave was discovered in London containing the remains of a woman buried with the full, expensive honors of a gladiator, including pottery depicting combat scenes. Roman art and inscriptions also backed it up, describing women fighting with swords, shields, and helmets, often against each other or even exotic beasts. They weren't just a sideshow, they were trained fighters. So the next time you watch a movie about the Colosseum, remember, it wasn't just a boys' club. Women were in the arena, spilling blood for the roaring crowds too. 6. The real Moby Dick was a vengeful white whale named Mocha Dick. Herman Melville's Moby Dick wasn't just a random story he cooked up about an angry whale. It was based on a very real, very famous, and very dangerous albino sperm whale named Mocha Dick. This whale was a legend among 19th century whalers in the Pacific. He was known for his incredible size, his distinctive white coloring, and most importantly, his extreme aggression towards whaling ships. Unlike other whales that would flee, Mocha Dick would actively attack boats, reportedly surviving encounters with dozens of harpoons. He was the ultimate maritime menace, the bane of the whaling industry, before he was finally killed. So, the epic tale of Captain Ahab's obsessive hunt wasn't fiction. It was inspired by a real-life sea monster who decided that mankind was the one that needed to be hunted. 7. Emperor Caligula's giant, floating pleasure palaces. Roman Emperor Caligula is famous for being, to put it mildly, completely unhinged. He tried to make his horse a consul, for crying out loud. But one of his most outlandish legends was that he built 2 massive floating pleasure palaces on Lake Nemi. These were said to be gigantic barges decorated with marble, mosaics, and lead piping for hot and cold running water. Basically, floating luxury villas for his infamous parties. For nearly 2,000 years, everyone thought this was just another tall tale about his insanity. Then, in the 1920s, the lake was partially drained, and there they were. The remains of colossal ships, far larger and more technologically advanced than anyone believed possible for that era. They were genuine floating monuments to imperial excess. Caligula wasn't just crazy. He was crazy with the engineering budget.
I don't know what makes her think I'm gonna keep paying all these motherfucking rent by my damn self.
A real-life ghost train. A train dedicated solely to transporting dead people and new orders. Sounds like something from a gothic horror story.
in the projects?
But for nearly a century, the London Metropolis Railway was a very real and very busy part of London's
Look, bro, when I first started fucking with her, bro, we've been together 5 years. When I first started fucking with her, rent was $800.
The solution?
New Year's came around.
Look,
Look, New Year's came around. They brought a new refrigerator in that motherfucker.
Designed to ferry
And the rent
coffins,
went up $200.
bringing families out to the massive Brookwood
So they just put a new. They just put a new.
There were first, second, and third class.
They just took all the shit out the
tickets
basement and
for
put new
both
shit
living
in.
and the deceased, ensuring
Rent
you
went up
could travel
$300.
to your final resting place
Yeah,
in a
that's
style
what
befitting
it's
your
supposed to go
station
by
in life.
your income.
It was a practical,
You know what I'm
if
saying?
slightly morbid,
Yeah, that's
solution
what it
to
look like
the
your income.
problem.
Yeah, So I was
A real-life
just.
ghost
That's why I'm like,
running
shorty,
on a
why the
daily
fuck you
schedule.
gonna go online and start this goddamn movie business so I get some fucking money? And she like, if I do that, then nigga, the rent probably gonna go up to $3-4 grand. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know, that's why you don't register everything. That's the problem I'm having.
So she like, man, well, if they find out, then we ain't gonna have nowhere to go. Shit, that give me a good month or two to get them and stack the bread to get us somewhere to fucking go. Like, I found a 5-bedroom house on Ugly Homes, right? 5-bedroom house on Ugly Homes for motherfucking $500. Only thing she got to do is
9.
All that she had to do was co-sign in the house.
Look at the baby shake hands to
She
start
ain't do
this
that
match.
shit.
Good
I'm like,
sportsmanship here.
All she had to do was what?
Rats out of the town.
She had to do it. She had to do a co-sign so I can buy the house off of ugly house.
Fire him up for sure.
She went in and put her name down. I'm like, damn, shorty. You didn't put your name down. We could have got that ugly house. I could have went that bitch and gutted out and fixed it. We could have moved in that motherfucker.
Everything's underway. It looks like we'll see if that show just
Respect isn't a prerequisite, Cole. It's not something you have to have for your peers. And it's definitely not something to give out freely.
Well, I just told her, like, you know what? When we break up, I ain't fucking no other bitch. You just all bitches.
That's how I feel about this bitch.
Just not enough damage.
You gotta go pick her up from work?
How do you get? I know I didn't go get it from work. I dropped her off though.
Oh, that's right. She got from work.
No, she got off earlier, but she wasn't trying to wait. She was.
Intense look in the eye.
I know yesterday you just said, you gotta pick up in the morning.
Shit,
Then
right,
go to work.
shit.
Here's a question that sounds like a riddle.
Shit, I got problems. I work for working 7 days a week. So I work 1 day a week because we fight on a couple times.
Trick getting worked on right now.
Trick is getting the window shut.
So like I just told her, if you let me work the motherfucker 5 days, I can get the goddamn, I'll get the conference down for a band. But you got so much shit you got to do.
Obviously, always got size on his side. Yeah, well, that size usually comes the same stretch.
You like right around.
Do everything you can to lock that Trick down. Eventually, Trick will topple, and then you can capitalize.
I call BG like, hey, me and hustle, nigga, what's name motherfucker into there? Like, you a hustle? Yeah. No, the fuck you ain't, nigga, I just got a follow hustle. BG, why you be like damn, dude.
Oh, he said you waiting on Roddy Rod too?
Yeah, nah, he was, I will hustle. We waiting on Roddy Rod. See, you ain't will hustle, I just got to follow hustle. BG, why you be like that? I'm gonna get the option dropped off.
Alright.
Two fighters on right now. This is a war of attrition with neither superstar wanting to be the one who surrenders. They are emptying their tanks, going back and forth like this.
It's not surprising that for over 2,000 years, Western civilization treated tales of
Both superstars just unloaded, putting it all on the line.
What about a tribe of savage people covered in hair?
Ending this test of wills with a big exclamation
But
point.
his account was dismissed as fantasy. For centuries,
Take off.
stories of
Into the pin. Can he get him here?
legends of dragons and griffins.
Kick out.
It wasn't until
Channeling his energy to
1840s that
stay
the Western
in this
scientists
matchup.
finally obtained a skull and
I don't know
then
what he's got in
a
mind heading to the
Perfect
floor
at the
here.
mythical Harry Wild Men of
Quick
Africa.
reversal by Williams.
Very real. The planet's largest primate was basically
Inverted backbreaker.
Ow. And Williams is keeping the match at his pace.
Trick is certainly getting that fierce look in his eyes.
was scientifically plausible.
From
The
delivering a
story of
Uranagi.
Archimedes using a death ray to defend his city of
I think we might have just seen
Sounds
Trick
like something
reach that
going
next
on.
level. He could be starting to
The legend
really
claims
struggle
the
in this
Greek
match.
genius used a
I'm
series of
surprised that
mirrors
more
to
damage
focus
hasn't
sunlight
been done
onto
at this
invading
point.
Roman ships, setting them ablaze from a distance. For centuries, this was
Tremendous pressure
considered pure
applied.
propaganda. A cool story to make a historical figure seem even more brilliant. But is it possible? While there's no definitive proof Archimedes actually built it, modern science says
A double axe
maybe.
handle.
Experiments, including some by the show Mythbusters and a more successful test by students at MIT, have demonstrated that under the right
And he's looking to
conditions,
the crowd for some
concentrated
money.
sunlight from polished bronze mirrors
That puts an end to that, thank goodness.
So while we don't know if it actually happened,
Here's your winner.
the myth of the death ray is based on sound physics.
You hate to see it
wasn't
after
magic.
a hard-fought
It was
match. They
science.
just couldn't see
Way
to
ahead of
shut
its
them
time.
up in this one. It looks like the lack of respect will continue
13.
on for now.
The terrifying
That was what
Amazon
you
warrior.
call a statement win,
Women
gentlemen.
were real.
They just put the whole
The
locker room on
Amazons of Greek
notice.
mythology are
Respect is
legendary.
earned, not
A
given.
fierce nation
Hell,
of all
you can even
female
try and
warriors
take it.
who were the equals of any male hero. They were often portrayed as man-hating archers who would remove a breast to better draw a bowstring. For a long time, historians assumed they were just a Greek fantasy, a way to explore ideas about gender and civilization. But then they started digging.